I was very interested, Andrew, the other day to hear you talking very fondly about your parents, about what your father did for you and your mother. And I didn't realize that there was this little other side to you, that you could be a little sentimental, you could be that little more that kind, very different from the image that we've seen on the ground.
Yeah, as I've got older, I've realised how
You're
lucky.
not old, Andrew?
Older.
Okay.
As I got older, I've realised how lucky I am to have the parents that gave me the opportunities. Like, they made huge sacrifices in their own careers to get me and my brother and sister into environments where we could pursue our dreams, and that's probably not very common either. People are career orientated these days, and my parents weren't. Well, they were, but they were happy to make sacrifices for their kids, and the only reason I played for Australia is because they did that, and I realised that, and I'm very grateful for getting that opportunity.
How big was it for you to play for Australia, and how big was it for them?
Yeah, it's hard to, well, I'll try and illustrate it by saying that when I used to be in the dressing room and won a test match, I'd go over to Ricky and say, mate, do you mind if I bring Dad in the dressing room, have a beer with him? He said, yeah, mate, welcome. And Dad had come in, and the first time he came in, I'd never seen someone drink 2 beers faster. He was that excited on the adrenaline of me playing my first test and winning it, and him being in the dressing room with all the boys, and he just inhaled his first 2 beers, and I could see his face, he was that excited. And for me, that was a moment of everything was worth it. And that's something I've got fossilised in my mind, that sort of kept me going in times that were difficult. I did want to do it for Mum and Dad sometimes. It wasn't for the team, it wasn't for me, it wasn't for self-gain, it was for Mum and Dad and the sacrifices they had made.
How important was it for you as a child? Because at one point you had the option of playing for England. You were 18, 19, you had this great future in front of you. How important was it for you to play for Australia?
Well, as a kid growing up, that's what I wanted to do. I used to play in the backyard, and that really was my dream. And it is a dream, there's not many men that have done it. And I, having been born in England, went to Australia when I was 18 months old, I hold an English passport. So I was able to play county cricket over there as a local player. And had a good season, and they picked me on an England A tour. And I didn't want to go, that wasn't the idea of me going over there. The trip had been organised for me to go over and have an experience over there.
But Andrew, for a 19-year-old, you were 19 at the time, you were picked for the England A?
Yeah.
It's a huge decision to take, to say, no, I don't want to go on that tour, because you had what a lot of guys would have dreamt of having, sort of toe into the England side.
Yeah, that wasn't in me, my heart wasn't in it. I wasn't passionate about it, and it didn't.
Yeah, but there's not many 19-year-olds who'd sort of turn that down, who'd know exactly what they want in life.
Yeah, well, I knew what I wanted. At the time I said, I mightn't even play for Australia, but I want to try, because that's what I want.
One of the things I've heard a lot of Aussies say is that you must become as good as you could have been. As you look back, do you think you were as good as you could have been?
No, I don't. It took me quite a long time to work out how to construct an innings, and that. When I did, I sort of look back and think, I wasn't bad, but I could have been much better. But if I look back, I would have probably changed a couple of things technically. But by the same token, I reckon I tried fairly hard, and sometimes, you look back and you're just not as good as other players, and I'm comfortable with that. But I think I could have been a bit better, yeah, definitely.